This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Will Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famers Mike Bendy's joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course, at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Yo, what up? Happy Friday. It is the Jason Walker Show inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. And I think we are now on another couple of platforms for you to watch and enjoy. Facebook Live, YouTube, also on Twitter and Periscope, I believe. It looks that way. So if you so choose to go to the Twitter or Periscope, you can watch the show there as well. And yeah, fun stuff. All right. Also live on Podbean, Network One Sports, and Treasure State Radio. Okay, so we got a lot going on today. We got more cancellations. Surprise, surprise, right? Big Sky Conference has some news we'll chat about. And also, Will Rasmussen will join us. The Will Rasmussen will join us coming up in a little bit here to talk rodeo stuff. And looking forward to talking with the good friend Will Rasmussen. All right, so that's all coming up. So let's see. Also, the drive-in, Lewis and Clark Fairgrounds, County Fairgrounds. The drive-in will be back next Wednesday. 2 new movies we'll discuss a little bit later on. And we are trying to let everybody know that the Jason Walker Show is live now on Twitter. So anyway, fun stuff. Yep, it's brand new. So we're trying to top all this stuff off for the day. But good stuff. We're going to be next week, but we will be back the week after. So June 1st, we will be back stronger than and going hugely. Is that even I don't even know if that's a phrase, but we will be. All right. So there you go. Let's see. Let's start with the Big Sky Conference. Some news came out today. Instead of the 20-game normal schedule, they're going to just have 16 conference games. So instead of 20 conference games, the round robin, play everybody twice, you're going to lose 4 games. And it's part of a cost-saving measure. It's for this year only. All 11 men's and women's teams still qualify for the Big Sky Tournament, which will run March 8th through 13th next spring at Boise. And it's just a 1-year adjustment. So trying to figure this out is basically what they're doing, because we don't know if there's even going to be basketball. Okay. Montana Athletic Director Ken Haslam said that the Grizzlies look to save about $20,000 on road trips. On one road trip that's getting canceled. So I guess that's good. So the Big Sky Conference slate was supposed to start kind of like the Frontier does, with a couple of games in December and then pick up again after Christmas. So trying to save some money. Good on the Big Sky. Excellent stuff. And goodness there. All right, let's see. What else we got going on? Let's do, just flipping through all sorts of stuff here. We got all kinds of stuff pulled up now on the computer. I really hope everything makes it now. But anyway, it's going to be a fun show with Will Rasmussen set to join us here in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to talk some rodeo cancellations. There's some good news, though, on the rodeo front, and that is that the Shodo Rodeo, Shodo American Legion Rodeo, was voted on last night. They will proceed. The 75th Shodo Legion Rodeo will take place. It'll be July 4th, and you can go to their Facebook page, Shodo American Legion Rodeo, to help out if you want. 7 p.m. they'll have a dance at the rodeo grounds. The street dance moves to the fairground or to the rodeo grounds, and then they'll have slack on the 4th. The main performance on July 4th at 2 p.m. So Shodo Rodeo is going to happen. That's great news. That's fantastic. What's really not good, though, is that the Livingston Roundup canceled. Late last night, came out and said the 96th year of rodeo is not going to happen because of the COVID-19. In a statement on their Facebook page, they said, "We would like to thank the cowboys and cowgirls who supported us, our fans, stock contractor, announcer, barrelman, all of our sponsors. We will be refunding tickets. If you have any questions or concerns, you can get a hold of those in Livingston at the Roundup." That's a big one because that's Cowboy Christmas, July 4th. That whole 10 to 12 day stretch is Cowboy Christmas. Okay? That's a big moneymaker for a lot of cowboys and cowgirls. Is Red Lodge going to cancel, which is the same days? It's a big question. Big question. And there's a lot of questions. There's a lot that we all don't know yet. It's just, it sucks. Plain and simple, flat out, just sucks. Livingston Rodeo is fantastic. If you have not been, you're missing out. And is Red Lodge next? Is the Last Chance Stampede going to be canceled? Because this week they canceled the State Fair in Great Falls. And we're going to talk to Will Rasmussen about all these rodeos. Can they be rescheduled? Which I don't think so, because when you look at Belt, which is canceled, Augusta, which is canceled, those are coming up in a month now, less than a month. They can't re-put them together. It's frustrating. It is super sad. And we're going to talk to Will Rasmussen about the economics of all of it coming up. We are having a little bit of issues on the live stream on video, but audio-wise, Network One Sports, Podbean, TreasureStateRadio.com. Appreciate you sticking with us. We're also live now on Twitter. You can go to at @JWalker Sports on the Twitter and watch there through Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, and much more. It's just we're trying to get the show out to as many of you as possible, and we appreciate all of our great sponsors, all of our great fans, and great friends. So there you go. So last night, they started baseball. American Legion / not Legion is playing baseball. Helena beat Missoula at Kendrick 10-5. And that's great. It was delayed a day because of weather, but at the end of the day, they played baseball last night. Saw some video. There's about 300 people in the stands, which about double or triple normal Legion crowd. But they, the end of the game, called strike 3. Catcher, pitcher, Senator's team heads towards the third base dugout and starts high-fiving, which I thought was against the rules. Thought we weren't allowed to high-five anymore on the baseball diamond. You can't in golf. So I thought we were not allowed to high-five Also doing some whole lot of ass slapping. I didn't think we were supposed to be slapping asses either. But, hey, you guys do you. Big tournament, the Missoula Mavs Memorial Day Tournament, scheduled for this weekend. Starts tonight. Double A will play in Bozeman. The single A will play over at Florence. And Bozeman is expecting some weather. Mostly rain. Snow on the higher elevations. But tomorrow's not going to be good, so they're going to play tonight and then Sunday and Monday. You can check out the full schedule. You can find it somewhere online. So that's great. Baseball's back. And I love baseball. It's the best sport. But, oh, man, I am, can I call out my internet provider? You got to be better up here, man. Charter Spectrum Internet is driving me nuts. Keeps cutting out the video. You're messing with the show, Charter. Spectrum 5G. Can we get fiber internet up where I live? Fiber optic, whatever it's called. It's crazy. Little wind, and then you can't have internet. All right. Will Rasmussen's going to join us coming up. Oh, I did want to throw this up real quick. Coming up next month, about a month from now, June 23rd, it is a Tuesday, from noon to 5, donate blood in honor of our good buddy Troy Ross. Hashtag Troy Strong, but the Helena blood drive. We'll get the other blood drives across the state for you too, but the Helena one's coming up June 23rd from noon to 5. You can make an appointment, use a donor app, or use the sponsor code Troy Strong, calling the Red Cross, 1-800-RED CROSS, or redcrossblood.org. It'll be held in Helena at the U.S. Forest Service conference room of Tybert Elkhorn Conference Room on Skyway Drive over by the airport. So if you are a donating blood type of person, thank you. And we'll see you there. But there'll be others across the state, and we'll share those as well. So, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to check in with our good buddy Will Rasmussen. Can rodeos be rescheduled? How many more are going to get canceled? We'll talk about it. How much money, economically, how much money will Montana lose potentially this summer because of the lack of rodeos, because of the lack of foresight from government, and the lack of foresight from task forces related to COVID, related to the government? We'll talk next with their good friend Will Rasmussen. Jason Walker Show. Major Mortgage Man Cave, coming right back.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Spring is fast approaching and summer is just around the corner, so now is the time to get those windows tinted at Auto Concepts as the sun starts to heat up. Tinting is the best way to keep the sun out of your little one's eyes driving down the road. Plus, it just looks cool. Auto Concepts is your exclusive 3M dealer for tinting, as well as the best clear bras in town. Auto Concepts clear bras will not fade or yellow over time. And don't forget about suspension lifts and power steps for your rig too. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com or check them out on Facebook. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
I'm done with this.
Thinking about trying something new? The Montana Air National Guard has so many exciting career fields to choose from, many that can open up opportunities in your civilian life. The best part? You'll be getting paid to learn a new trade skill right here at home. What are you waiting for? Let's get you in school and get you paid. Contact Leak Fecto at 406-788-8962.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
All right, are we back? I think we're back. Jason Walker Show, Major Mortgage Man Cave. Got music. Do I have... What's going on here? That's not working. That's not good. I'm serious. My internet is driving me nuts today. Oh, we're going to have fun, though. I promise. All right. There we go. There you go. All right. On this day in history, don't forget we're not coming back next week. We'll be back June 1st. We're taking next week off. Just to try to settle down a little bit. How's that? It's a good way to put it. Make sure, by the way, if you're looking to do anything, get out to Green Meadow Country Club. Become a member. Tell them you heard it, saw it, Jason Walker Show. Go golfing. You still got time to get out there today. You can go out anytime. Get signed up as a member. They've got great food specials, great atmosphere, and like I said, fantastic golf. So we'll see you out there at Green Meadow Country Club. All right, let's bring in our first guest on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. We know that there has been a whole lot of cancellations in the world of rodeo and the Jason Walker Show. One of the, well, I'll just say it. Nobody covers rodeo as much as I do, and nobody loves it on radio or internet or anywhere as much as I do. And we're going to welcome in one of my best friends, Will Rasmussen, joining us. Will, the world of rodeo has been affected just like the world of sports. And when you look at it, it's almost as if nobody remembers that rodeo is a sport and still exists out there.
Yeah, I could be. I think there's a little bit of a lag time here in Montana because all of a sudden, you know, it's rodeo season in Montana, and they now all of a sudden this our only professional sport isn't going to be seen probably all summer long. So all of a sudden it's become real, you know. I've talked with you on and off for the last couple months, and it became real for us when I was leaving a rodeo in Grand Island, Nebraska, the second weekend in March to head for Austin, Texas. They told me you might as well turn around. I was headed for a 16-day deal, and they canceled that big rodeo and Texas State Fair the day before it was scheduled to start. And so $2.5 million in children's charities didn't get benefited down there in the Lone Star State. And now all of a sudden it's time for rodeo season here, and oh my goodness, it's real.
Just this
thing is real. So, and when I say I don't want you to quit being fired up, I don't want you to quit being fired up.
Yeah. No, I know. We've had some conversations both on the phone and on the radio or on the online, because you're a new member of Twitter. I equate this, Will, to my dad forever giving me a hard time for being on Facebook, and now he's on it nonstop. You're new to Twitter. How's that working out for you?
I don't Twitter much or tweet, maybe it's called. No, I just keep up with the news. And I have to tread lightly in that political atmosphere. So that's what I do. But I find it interesting, some of the comments. So, yeah. So rodeo things got me pretty worked up. Losing rodeos every day, and my personal schedule. I was supposed to be in California last week at a tour rodeo. Supposed to be in Cooley City, Washington tonight. Central Point, Oregon next week. Livermore, California the next week. Pleasant Grove, Utah the next week. Greeley, Colorado the next 2 weeks. Salinas, California the next week. Sheridan, Wyoming. Montana State Fair. Lewistown Fair. Missoula Fair. So those are all gone. So that gets me to the third weekend in August. And I'm sure that one will probably go away. We will see what happens. But Washington is a little more out there than where we're living. So we'll just have to see.
Will Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. You mentioned a lot of rodeos being canceled, like Missoula and Lewistown, that I hadn't heard yet. We knew this week that we dropped Belt, Augusta, the Big Sky Pro Rodeo Roundup at the State Fair. We lost Livingston last night. Red Lodge and the Last Chance Stampede have to be canceling soon, I would figure, which just flat out sucks.
I hope not. Drummond, Montana, canceled a couple days ago. Missoula hasn't officially. They're trying to. I misspoke there. I shouldn't have spoken for them. They haven't officially made an announcement, so we're waiting on the official word there. But you think about all the spokes of the wheel that make a rodeo work, and with the guidelines that everybody must adhere to, I guess that. And all of the, and all of the sponsors that are hurting, and the people, there's a third of the people that won't go, a third of the people that'll have to think about it, and a third of the people go, woohoo, let's go. So, I'm sure the people would come out. Rodeo committees would have to hire a whole new set of workers just to keep everything sanitized. You're required to wipe everything down after every rodeo performance. Then you get to like the fairs, Lewistown, and I know you guys have a carnival, and Great Falls. I mean, you have the carnival, the livestock shows. A standalone rodeo maybe you could pull off, but and sponsors that have given so generously over the years and would love to but can't.
Yep.
That goes into the equation. I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomer. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. And so we are, rodeo's a microcosm of what's going on in Montana and America. We're trying to balance what's healthy and safe to the economy. And so you have to make it work. Somehow you have to make it work. But I feel so badly for the committees that have worked all year long, and all of a sudden they can't have a rodeo. And like in Belt, they work, all year long, can't have a rodeo. Who's one of the major recipients of monies raised at the Belt Rodeo? The Belt Volunteer Fire Department. So they're not going to get a very generous donation that helps them get needed materials and fund their, things like that. It just trickles down, and I feel so badly. And I think I said this to you the other day. I don't mind science, but I hate politics.
Yeah.
And when it's 90% politics and 10% science, then that upsets me a bit. And I'm on a task force representing the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit. We had a conference call with the governor's chief of staff and one of his head economic development officers. We ran, the dollars by him, the real dollars of economic impact that losing rodeo will cause, from bars and restaurants to, fuel and everything, just everything. And it is around $30 million. just the circuit finals in Great Falls is about $3 million hit to the city of Great Falls, and the fair's got to be more. So somewhere there's got to be a balance, and it upsets me when you can get into Yellowstone Park from Wyoming, but you can't from Montana, which tells me politics are involved.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that, you don't want to talk a lot of politics. I've turned this sports show more into talking politics just because we don't have sports to talk about. But, it sucks that we don't have basketball, football, baseball. We got Legion, yay, which is great for the kids. But, you speak of kids and you look at the Stampede in Helena, or you look at Great Falls with the state fair, and a lot of these other places that have 4-H sales. That's a lot of money now, Will, that these kids are not going to be able to sell or get, because they're not going to be able to sell their livestock and their fairs at these fairs. And 4-Hers are going to lose a lot too.
Yeah, that's all part of the, all of a sudden this big snowball that's rolling downhill. And I mentioned that to the governor's office the other day on the telephone. Most of the major buyers are also rodeo fans, and and it's and I'm the biggest sports nut there is. I love the NCAA tournament. I love the NBA playoffs. I love football. I love college football. I love it all, and my goodness, it's we sure miss it, and I miss it, and the sport of rodeo, it's just the biggest thing that happens to a little town, wherever it might be. I don't care if it's a PRCA rodeo, an NRA rodeo. I was in Choteau. I live in Choteau, and they were able to have a high school rodeo there this week, today and yesterday. It was so dang good to see hundreds of trailers parked there, and they're able to have a high school rodeo because not that many spectators go, just the parents, and God bless them, and they're perpetuating the sport that we loved. But they even had me come and speak to the kids at the opening of the rodeo this morning, and felt pretty good to have a microphone in my hand in an announcement stand, I can tell you that. So. Well,
come on. I mean, I know you sit there and stand in the shower probably with the shower head and sing or announce anyway. So
I used to. There's no lie. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. That's right. That's right.
Will Rasmussen, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. All right. So there's so many questions I have. You mentioned Choteau. They came out and said they're planning on having the 75th Choteau American Legion Rodeo July 4th. We're hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, they say they're going to, but so did a lot of these other rodeos.
Yeah, there's just a lot of hoops to jump through. And I know by talking to the Teton County attorney, Teton County is the county that Choteau is in. They are going by governor's directives, and it goes through the health inspector for each county, goes through the county attorney, and then it's up to the police or the sheriff to make a determination if there should be whatever action needs to be done. And the Teton County attorney has told me they're following the state to the letter, and I know that in phase 2, which we'll get to it on June 1st, you can sell 50 seats together, social distance to another 50 seats together, and then so on. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good thing that we learned from the governor's office the other day. And so I hope that Legion Baseball and all that will understand that rule, because that is something I did not understand. So you can sell 50 together, social distance, sell another 50 together. So that's a big deal. But the PRCA and everybody are requiring, the sanitizing. The governor's office was concerned about, once you get those people in there, you can't keep them apart when they go to the concession stand. They were worried about social distancing in the concession stand line, the bathroom lines. How do you sanitize the bathrooms? the handrails of the aluminum bleachers? How do you, if you're selling beer, and then the food safety? They were worried about very much. They were worried about all the guidelines that come up once the event gets started. So one person is in a group of 50 and sees her classmate that is there for the class reunion that she hasn't seen in 25 years. She going to go hug them? Yep, I'll bet she does. Broken the rule. And then the other thing is I'm going to put my insurance cap back on too. If you don't stick to the letter of the law on these guidelines, if you can even get insurance, and I know you can still, but they're going to require certain things too. And then if you don't adhere to the language of the insurance contract, your insurance can become null and void as well. So there's just so many obstacles. I had a rodeo in Pleasant Grove, Utah, call me today and cancel. They were trying to hang on. They are Utah's longest continuously running celebration in the state.
Wow.
And they want to remain that way. They have an 8,000-seat stadium. They're going to sell 2,000 tickets a night and, do their best. But they got to the last hoop they had to jump through, and they weren't able to jump through it or weren't allowed to jump through it, so they had to cancel today. So there's just obstacles, and I want the Shoto American Legion 4th of July Rodeo to happen. I do. And I hope they sell enough tickets to take place, and I hope sponsors are okay to help them out. And it would improve the attitude immensely of everybody in this state, because everybody's kind of kicking the dirt. But I just hope that I don't know.
I know it's frustrating. You, like you said, you and I have talked over the last couple of months on the phone a bunch. But here's a big question I have. When you talked to the governor's office the other day, you couldn't get the governor, which surprise, surprise. But if they're so concerned about sanitation and groups of people, I can go to Walmart and see more than 50 people in a room. I can, in one small enclosed building. I can go to the grocery store. There's more than 50 people in there. And, who's worrying about sanitation there? Because you're touching groceries and putting them back if you decide you don't want it. There's not somebody running behind me with a hand wipe or wiping it down. And there's a lot of contradictions when it comes to this. And I don't know if the governor's office or if the governor himself, if he even cares, but rodeo is a huge deal in this state. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that, and maybe the ones that need to don't, but there's a lot of money, like you said, $30 million, Will, that's up for grabs, that's going to be lost. That's not prize win money. That's money to the communities and gone. And it's frustrating.
It is, when you grab a box of hot frosted flakes, you wonder how many people thought about it, put it back, and went and got Applejack.
Yep.
I get all that, and that is, and God bless the people that have suffered and the families. We have 13 active cases, or less than 20 active cases in Montana right now. And yes, there be an outbreak. The other thing they were worried about is something that you can't deny if you're a rodeo person. Helena's Last Chance Stampede, the Livingston Roundup, Red Lodge, rodeos like that are major stops along the road to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. There are people coming from all over, be them spectators or competitors. And I know there's a lot of people in Teton County that think, listen, we don't want people coming in. We don't have any cases. We have never had a case in Teton County, ever. We still don't. So they're saying, we don't want a case. But here's my theory. They tell us the virus is going to stay. They tell us they won't have a vaccine for a year or more. So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
We got to make a decision sometime. So what we asked the governor was at least give us an opportunity to make the choice to see if it is economically feasible to host an event. And as of right now, there aren't many rodeos that have found a way to make it work. Some are willing to go in the hole just to host an event. But the impact to the city of Helena, to the town of Augusta, to the town of Choteau, to the city of Billings, and you just think about that. And I know rodeo's a small blip on the radar. Rodeo is until it isn't there for those communities. Yep. So, and that doesn't count. Think about the Nile in Billings that are scratching their heads. They're not till October. But I'll tell you, they are. I know I was on the call with Jennifer Boca, the general manager of the Nile in Billings, at the 2-week, the Northern International Livestock Exposition. There are horse sales and cattle sales and ranch rodeos and PRCA rodeos in the Metra. And, and most of the time rodeos, they have to sell 80% of their seats to make it work and be able to tell their sponsors that's how many people are going to see the flag or the chute gates. And so it's a big deal. And I'm making a big deal of it. People are probably tired of listening to me complain, but it's my life. It's my livelihood. It's my only job.
Yep.
So,
well, you're darn good at it, and that's why you've been doing it for so long. Will Rasmussen, our guest here. Well, I have so many questions, and let me ask this one, and I don't know if it's an easy answer, but we saw was it a year or two ago when Augusta had the massive, devastating flood? They moved a month. Is that possible that any of these rodeos get rescheduled?
One of my rodeos in California, the biggest rodeo in California, it's in the top 10 of all rodeos in the United States. It's in Salinas, California, and it's usually in the middle of July. They have postponed until the first week, but we
lose you?
Yeah, are you there?
Yep, there you are.
Yeah, did you hear that?
You're postponed till the first week of
October.
Wow.
Of October. And who knows by then, once again, that governor has said we won't have sporting events with fans till there's a vaccine. Mm-hmm. So they're just, that's another rodeo that is 5 nights and 2,500 volunteers on that committee. And it's a monster. They give, $5 million away to charities, and build baseball fields and football fields. And it's a tough thing, but you think about Augusta. You talked about the flood a couple of years ago. They had to move their rodeo to July. Well, of course, it didn't do as well, in July as it would the last Sunday in June. And then they had a good year last year, and now this. You just hope upon hope upon hope that they can survive this.
Well, and that's the thing, Will, is, Helena, Great Falls, Livingston, yeah, they're big rodeos, they're bigger towns. It's not okay, but they'll be okay. But you look at Belt, you look at Hardin, which was one of the first to cancel. What about the Cody Night Rodeo? I mean, that's another thing to think of in the summer, how big that is. And I know it's in Wyoming, but that's a pretty big deal where a lot of money's made over the weekends in Cody.
Cody Night Rodeo, 7 nights a week. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the annual 4th of July Rodeo in Cody, Wyoming. And I do the Sheridan Wyo Rodeo, one of the 4 biggest in Wyoming. And they haven't made the official call, but there's so many spokes to the wheel that it's just difficult to put it all together and know that people are safe. Because the last thing a rodeo committee wants is to cause an outbreak too. Yep. That's the reality of it too. And so, I hope that Great Falls will be okay. I hope that Helena will be okay. I hope that we can't do it without fans or sponsors. We don't have billion-dollar TV contracts like they do in the NBA or Major League Baseball or the NFL, and can afford to have events without fans. The PBR is rolling on, albeit they're doing it for CBS Sports Network and good for them. And I talk to my brother Flint all the time. He says it's depressing, but they're doing it for TV. He's thankful he has a job.
Yep.
That's how it is. And rodeo has a TV deal, but you can't have you can't make a TV deal with over 600 PRCA approved and sanctioned rodeos throughout the United States. So, it becomes complicated. And I'm sorry for the fans of Montana. They need a little break.
Yep.
They need a little break. I feel bad for the mom that had to quit her job because she has 3 kids at home that she's homeschooling with one laptop computer, doing her best to make sure her kids are educated. That's a reality too. So, everybody's in a tough spot. A lot of people don't have jobs, and it has affected everybody. You couldn't go see your daughter when she turned 21 years old and give her a hug and celebrate her 21st birthday because she was afraid that she would give you the virus out of Gallatin County, Montana, and take it back to your 2-year-old daughter. I mean, it affects you too. So,
yeah. I mean, there's so many affected, Will, and it's just, you look at it up and down, and if there's no national finals rodeo, or how has the PRCA talked about that, Will, is, there's no money that, I mean, you look at these leaders that have had money until March. What if they don't rodeo until September 30th? I mean, that's the end of the regular season, and you're going to have small, I mean, it's crazy.
First of all, a couple of, I believe that if we are able to start rodeos, I believe that the PRCA will extend the regular season to the end of October. I believe that. I don't know that. I didn't get that from a reliable source, but I have a feeling they would do that. The second thing to add to it, I think that the least of Las Vegas events worries is having somebody in the number 15 spot with $21,000 one is all. If we can get the top 15 in the world at a rodeo to compete for major money in Las Vegas, that would be great.
Yep.
But Las Vegas is hurting. I heard that the Tropicana filed for bankruptcy 2 days ago, and they're hurting too. Think of Fat Town, blackjack dealers, crap dealers, food,
ballets, concierge,
everything. It's all based around those casinos. And one of my best friends, a great lady that works for a major casino company, 25-year employee, her job was eliminated the other day, and she was devastated. And so Vegas is in tough shape, and they pay that $10 million purse with hotel tax. So there's not many people staying there right now.
No.
God bless our contestants. I feel bad for them too, and I am great friends with a whole bunch of them, and I miss them dearly. But I think the last thing on Las Vegas's mind right now is for the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo is, they'll get 15 cowboys in each event, and all 15 of them will be pretty darn good.
No, and that's absolutely right. I mean, that's one thing to think about. Couple final questions for you, Will. Will Rasmussen joining us, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. Wade Sankey, who is a great friend of both of ours, was on your conference call the other day too, as part of this task force. And I don't know if the Sankeys are doing it, or the Kesslers or Brookmans or any of these great Vold, any of these great livestock companies that we have. I did see a couple weeks ago another livestock producer for rodeo had to sell some horses and bulls because they're not bucking, so they're costing money because they're not making money. And that's one thing to think about too, is before we even get to rodeo, some of these guys are losing a lot of money on livestock.
Well, here's what some people realize it, but here's the reality of that. They have yearling colts, they have 2-year-olds, they have 3-year-olds, they have 4-year-olds. When they're about 4-year-olds, then they can try them out. They can't buck them hard. So, and then when they're 5, they can start hitting the rodeo trail if they're successful at their craft. And then, they don't really get into their own till they're 10 or 12. Mm-hmm. So you think about that. That's a built-in cost for them. But like Kessler, they have 600 or 700 horses. 600 or 700 horses. Sankey's the same way. Brookman's the same way. Sparky Dreesen the same way. And we put the numbers together. We had 3 rodeo livestock contractors on our conference call the other day, and I'm not going to name them but Sankey's one of them, and because you mentioned that. But it's well over $3 million in income. But add to that, when they go to a rodeo, they have livestock, a whole bunch of livestock. The committees or a donor, a sponsor, provides the feed to that livestock. So they get relatively feasibly priced, feed for their horses while they're at a rodeo. So add that to the fact that they don't have rodeos. They're not bringing in an income, plus they have to feed those animals, 365 days a year now. It's a huge investment, and that won't be the first rodeo livestock contractor you'll see that has to feed or to sell some of his livestock that they put so much time in. I mean, it's millions of dollars just in livestock contracting firms.
Is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
I don't know. I beg that the governor get us to phase 3, do something so we can at least have a choice. And everybody tells me to push back, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to push it back. Part of me says you got to do it the right way. Part of me says let's just have an event, come and arrest all 3,000 of us. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and there's room in the jails because they're letting out the bad guys. So
that's true. And Shelby's never been used, right? So I mean, isn't there a whole lot of openness up in Shelby?
I don't know. I'm always a glass half full guy, and I'm always a fixer. But this is the most frustrating thing I've ever witnessed. And, I feel bad for a lot of people, the bar owners, the restaurant owners. I guess the virus only comes out after 11:30 in a bar. I don't know.
I guess so. And you can get it in church, but not at Walmart.
Yeah. And I get afraid for my parents. I don't want them to get it. I don't want your 2-year-old daughter to get it.
Yep.
But this, if we can go by science, I'm all for it.
Well, but I can tell you last night, looking at video, they did not social distance 300 people at baseball game in Helena last night. They were sitting pretty close together.
Good for them. High school rodeo in Choteau, Montana. The restaurant. They were doing their best to keep people apart, but man, was it good to see those people busy and, lines at the fuel pumps and things like that. That's what rodeo does.
Yep.
That's what baseball games do, So hopefully, I don't mean to be doom and gloom because you've known me for a dozen years. I'm usually an upbeat guy, but this is a tough one. And I talked to my brother Flint, who's always upbeat. He's having a tough time. I talked to Kevin Higley, who's an award-winning rodeo clown. He's having a tough time. He doesn't know what to do. Yep. I was supposed to see him and working with him tonight at Cooley City, Washington. He had to call me. He's a clown that's been going to Cooley City, Washington, Memorial Day weekend for 36 years, and he's not going. And he didn't know what to do, and I felt bad for him. And the rodeo committee hires a rodeo secretary named Edie Longfellow. She's been nominated for Secretary of the Year many times, and she's out in the Columbia River Circuit. She called me. She left me a voicemail just before you called it. She was crying. She was crying. She's 70 years old, and she's worried about our sport. So that's what we deal with every day. And you know what? I guess we're going to get through it. Will it be the same? Man, I hope so, because it was really fun.
Oh, we love rodeo. Hey, you brought up Flint a couple of times. I got to ask, did you see the pictures on Facebook from about a month ago? Him standing out in a field somewhere and looking Shelby called him majestic. Did you see those photos?
I don't know if I did.
Oh, I don't. Him standing in sagebrush somewhere in Miles City, it looks like. It's just, he's a dork.
Oh, there's no question. And I'm way funnier than he is, but that's all right. I'm
Well,
not willing
no,
to put
that's. Hey, by the way, I got to ask you this: you're taller. Like you're Flint's not tall. I'm not tall. You've got some height. Where did all that come from?
I have. Let's see. My mother's side of the family. My mom's dad was 6'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not that tall though. I'm only about 5'11", but you guys are just short. my brother, he's 6'1" or 2", so he's the tallest one.
Okay, so I also, when you probably saw this one, but it was Flint put this one up on his Facebook page too. But it was the four of you, the siblings, from your senior pictures, and I gotta show this one because you, my friend, some great hair, and you look like a young. Well, it's older, but you got a little Brad Pitt going on. And I'm gonna from A River Runs Through It, like early River Runs Through It, Brad Pitt.
Well, I shouldn't say this, but that comparison has been made before.
Really?
Not recently, I got to tell you. But that comparison has been made before, and I miss my hair so damn much.
I love it though. It's great. That's a great photo of all the Rasmussen clan.
I did not see that. I did not see that. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, your senior picture was good. He's got a mullet, of course.
And I have a mullet right now. I've been letting my hair grow till this virus thing goes away. Oh my goodness gracious! I hope it goes away for a lot of reasons.
So's Brad Pitt. He's growing his out, so now you can go back to looking like Brad again.
Well, he's my idol for a few reasons, but
some we can talk about on air, and some we probably shouldn't. Will Rasmussen, our friend here on the Jason Walker Show. Hey, man, I appreciate the time. I wish the best for you because I know what it's what rodeo means to you. I know what it means to your livelihood, and it's just it's frustrating. And one other thing, we talk a lot about PRCA because that's in your circuit. Think about the small towns in the Northern Rodeo Association that may not survive this.
Yeah, I know.
An East Helena, a Townsend Rodeo,
Yeah,
Conrad.
Will. Oh. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, the rodeo committee just come to the conclusion we lose less by not having it. So, and that's fair. That's fair. So, I will. Yeah, it's tough. It's all that I do. It's a great living. It's a great job. And I'll never take it for granted again. And I will leave you with this. I got to tell you, I have become over the years, Jason, a great friend with a guy named Dave Haverlow. He was on the pitching staff with the Oakland A's back in the days of Raleigh Fingers and Catfish Hunter, Vida Blue, that bunch back in the 70s that won those titles. And he was a utility pitcher. He pitched for the A's. He pitched for the San Francisco Giants. He ended his career at the Seattle Mariners, and he has a radio talk show, or he had one. He retired last year. 2-hour radio sports talk show in Moses Lake, Washington. That's the location I go to, and we have been such good friends over the last 20 years. And he said this to me the other day. He said, "Will, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not living."
Yep.
And he texted me that the other day, and I thought, wow, how fitting for this time.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. And you're the best at what you do. Appreciate you joining us as always. Stay safe because I'd like to see you at a rodeo down the road. That'd be great.
Wouldn't it? It would, my friend. It would. We'll stay in touch, and good luck to you. Keep your family well, and take care of yourself. You call me anytime.
Will do, my friend. I will. Thank you very much for joining us today.
You betcha. Thank you.
That's Will Rasmussen joining us. Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. And there you go. There's the world of rodeo in a nutshell. And he can say it a hell of a lot better than I can and break it down for you a lot better than me because he's in it. He lives it day by day. And that's his livelihood, like he said. And it's not there right now. So We appreciate Will joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. And before we end the show, I know we went a little bit long, but we're just going to keep chatting. Did get a picture here from a friend. What did it say? I won't be sharing that, Corey, on the air. It has nothing to do with the show, but that's fantastic. All right. I put this out on Twitter last night, and I've talked about this all week. We're blaming liberal media, Democrats, and you know who else is creaming in their shorts? PETA, because all these rodeos that have been canceled, PETA's loving this crap. Is PETA behind COVID? Just a question. Probably not, but yeah, let's just throw them in there too. Before we end, it is time for On This Day in History, brought to you by the Motherlode. This last segment with Will, brought to you by our friends at Rutgers Furniture. Motherlode, sports bar, casino, and restaurant. Get your bets in for the match, Tiger and Peyton against Phil and Brady. I don't like Tiger. I don't like Brady. I wish they were together. I'm not a huge Peyton fan, but I'm a Phil guy, so I'm rooting for Phil because he's going to carry Brady anyway. Kind of like the Patriots carried Brady all those years. Today is May the 22nd, National Craft Distillery Day. It is National Buy a Musical Instrument Day, Solitaire Day, Vanilla Pudding Day, Cooler Day, Don't Fry Day, and Road Trip Day. It is Friday, Don't Friday. That's crazy. On this date in 1843, the first wagon train departed Independence, Missouri for Oregon. Yep. 1884, one-armed pitcher Hugh Daly fanned 13 hitters in a game. Braves pitcher Cliff Curtis lost his 23rd straight game on this date in 1911. Roger Maris in 1962 walked 5 times, a then record, 4 intentionally in a 9-inning game. Andre Dawson would then receive 5 intentional walks in a game in 1990. They were both pretty good sluggers. Mickey Mantle hit a ball off the Yankee Stadium facade in 1963 on this date. Let's see. Annika Sorenstam became the first woman to play in the PGA in 58 years on this date in 2003. Happy birthday, Arthur Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, 1859. Ted Kaczynski was born on this date in 1942. Uncle Ted, the Unabomber. Tommy John, who had a surgery named after him, born on this date in 1943. Bernie Taupin, who wrote all those great songs with Elton John, 1950. Apollo Anton Ono. I think it's just Apollo Ono now. In 1982, his birthday. Novak Djokovic in 1987 is his birthday, born on this date. Let's see, a couple other things in history. 1807, former U.S. Vice President Aaron Burr tried for treason in Richmond, Virginia. He was acquitted. We're going to see more treason probably against a recent former president and vice president. 1915, Lassen Peak, California. Lassen Peak erupted. It's the only mountain other than Mount St. Helens to erupt in the continental U.S. in the 20th century. 1933, the first modern sighting of the Loch Ness Monster, Nellie. Something resembling a whale was how they described it. Let's see, a couple other things. 1954, I'm only bringing this up. We talk a lot about Montana, but this is in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's a CBS station, and they have been since 1954. KREX-TV, Channel 5, News Channel 5 in Grand Junction, began broadcasting. I worked there as sports director from 2004 to 2006. Great friends to this day, and it's awesome. Great. Happy birthday to KREX Television in Grand Junction, Colorado. Walk Off Now, brought to you by Cafe Zydeco as we head off to Memorial Day weekend. And let's not say Happy Memorial Day. Can we not do that?
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
All right, it's not Happy Memorial Day. Let's take a minute to remember why Memorial Day. Well, not a minute, but we're going to take some time to remember exactly what Memorial Day is all about. It is not about boating. It is not about campfires and camping and all that fun stuff, which is a great thing to do. Remember, okay? It is about remembering, okay? Those who came before us, those who gave their lives, that is the true meaning of Memorial Day. To have what we have today, thank your military, thank your armed services, and also thank our frontline workers today. And this is a sad statistic. Less than 50% of Americans know the true meaning of Memorial Day. It's not campfires and barbecues and drinking and getting drunk. Okay? Think about that. All right, the walk-off is brought to you by Cafe Zydeco. Start the music, wrap things up. Thanks to Will Rasmussen joining us. We're going to take the week off next week. We're going to be off Monday anyway, so... By the way, speaking of the weekend, have a great one. Tip your hat to the military. My son who's in the Army currently, my brother who was in the Navy, cousin that served in the Army, my grandpa who was injured in Korea, a couple of great friends who didn't come back. That's what Memorial Day is about. We'll see you back here on June 1st. We'll be in phase 2. Have yourself a great weekend. Talk to you next time on The Jason Walker Show.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.